You're listening to the Shipyard Cat Podcast, the unofficial SAFC podcast for fans everywhere.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the pod. Tonight, you're lucky you've got myself, Robin, hosting. Obviously, I didn't do the preview, but you've got me for the review because Adam sort of bottled hosting duties because we lost. I don't know. Something wrong with that, isn't there, Kev? But look, joining me tonight, obviously we do have Adam, we have Kev, and we have a new guest on the pod this week, young Tom Nichols. He graduated from Sunderland University last year with a BA with honours in sports journalism. So we're hoping to, get his take on it from, I suppose, the more educated side of it rather than us just rambling, talking nonsense. So, Tom, first time on the pod, how are you feeling?
Feeling good. Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome, mate. So we'll just give the crack. Kev, how are you?
Yeah, good. My voice is coming back, so I know you listened to the pod on your journey down to West Ham. Well, I say down for you, across the road.
Yeah.
But yeah, my voice is sounding a bit more normal now.
Yeah, I can't complain at the half hour on the train for me, to be honest. And Adam, how are you, mate?
Yeah, mate, not bad. Busy all weekend after that drab performance, but I'm sure that's what we're going to get into today.
Yeah, well, look, we'll start with it. It wasn't the best. Look, wrap it up. It's 3-1 defeat on the roads to West Ham. Obviously, as Kev was fully aware after I pointed it out to him, that is our third defeat in London this season now. Following on from Fulham and Brentford, which he seemed to forget about. But yeah, look, it wasn't a great performance at all. They rushed out the blocks, got an early goal. Obviously, then the penalty, third goal before half time, it was virtually game over by then. Second half, we did make a bit more of a fist of it and try to get back into the game. But yeah, I'll let you lads take it away. Adam, your thoughts on it to start with?
No, just first half, I felt like we just weren't at the races at all. It was just one-way traffic from West Ham, really just piling on the pressure. Me and Kev said it in the build-up, saying if West Ham come out fighting, they've got to, and that was the scary thing is, and they punished us for not us taking our chances. We had, I believe, 2-3 chances in the first 10-15 minutes. We didn't take them, and if we did take them, as you've alluded to many times in the past, mate, we could be high and dry before they even had one chance.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I mean, we had opportunities. I think Ariola made a decent save, tipped one over the bar. And, then, yes, unfortunately, Silencio Somerville, who just happened to be the smallest man on the pitch, managed to out-jump Mukiela and put the ball in the back of the net. So, obviously, Tom, I know from where you were sitting in the lower bowl, you probably had a really good view of that. What was your thoughts on the whole defending side of that goal?
Absolutely dreadful, to be honest. I mean, I think it came from Ronaldo's side. He should never have let the cross in the first place. But he got run around all game. But yeah, to leave the smallest man in the pitch open in the box for a free header, it's not great, is it? Ballard and Alderete, nowhere to be seen, anywhere near Somerville. Obviously, Siddiqui, nowhere near. Just not good at all, really.
Kev, your take on the goal? Because I've got a slightly different take on it, surprise, surprise. But I want to get your point of view, Kev.
I said in the preview, person to watch out for was Somerville. I said he was a frustration and a troublemaker in terms of what he can do. My thoughts on it, yeah, okay, you get the cross comes in, dangerous from crosses. Could Roofs have done something with it? Maybe, but I think also, where was Hume?
That
Hume
is exactly what I was getting to.
Yeah, Hume for me, I think the weight of the armband maybe controlled his feeling and play more than being the defender that he is. But it happens, you look at the second half and all of a sudden Ballard's got the armband. But you're hosting, mate. I'll let you take back over.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to get your thought on it because to me, obviously, I know Mukiele got a bit of stick straight on because obviously, he was playing right back and Somerville came in from there. But when you look at it back on the replays, I mean, Hume was with Somerville and he just stopped running. Now, to me, if you're Mukiele there, rather than thinking, I should have picked him up myself, you're thinking, how has he run unchecked into the box? Where's my help? And I think you're right, Kev. I think the weight of the armband was too much for Hume. I know he's played for his country and he's captain them as well. However, he's not done that from midfield position. I feel personally the round peg in the square hole and the armband was a bit too much.
Yeah.
While we're talking about that, I mean, I'm not going to bash Hume all game of review, but the penalty, lads, come on. I mean, that was just pure laziness. I mean, your thoughts?
You can't leave a leg out like that in the Premier League with VAR these days. On the replays, it looks a bit soft, but there is enough contact for who was it? Somerville, I think it was. He went down. There's enough contact for him to go down. Yeah, it's just human midfield, the experiment. That should be that after his performance the other day.
Adam?
Yeah, I was just about to say I'm in agreement with Tom there. To be fair, obviously the modern game, shall we say, is woeful for stuff like that because you can go down just at the minimum of contact and it's a pen. Obviously, we know that I'm a former defender and I would have probably took two legs instead of just a little tap off him. But as it's the whole thing, isn't it? Like you can put a tackle in, but if you leave a trailing leg, an attacker will deliberately aim for that trailing leg, fall over it, and go, "Ref, where's the pen?" That's the problem with today for me.
I mean, to me, the most shocking bit of it was that Hume had put his leg across, actually planted it on the ground, and then the player ran across it and got the contact.
Yeah.
That to me shows how lazy it was. There was no attempt whatsoever to get the ball. He just stuck a leg out.
Yeah.
And then look, third goal by the time this one goes in the back of the net. I think at first I saw it, and from that distance I thought, should Ruffs have done better? And then when I looked at it, Ruffs had made a really good attempt to it and just, got fingertips to it, but not enough. And again, during the highlights and stuff and the review that we saw of it, obviously people saying that Enzo never got out to him. But to me, again, this is my last bit of, berating Hume, I suppose. It's Hume's man out there. And he was just miles off him. There was no attempt to close him down whatsoever. I'll say that's my bit of berating him because thankfully at half time, he was taken off the pitch. So your thoughts then on the half time substitutions, Kev?
Had to be done. I just feel Regis did the right. Look, did he get it wrong at the start? Yes. Did he do the right thing at halftime? Yes, because I think if he'd have left the starting lineup out and kept the tactics the same, it could have probably got worse. I mean, it's that whole thing. If it's not working, change it. Well, I think Robin even not Robin, sorry, Chris said 20 minutes in, this isn't working. But I don't think a manager's going to change it 20 minutes in. When Bowen gets that penalty through, at that point it's like, now maybe make some changes. But you constantly think, oh well, we might be in this, we might be in this. It's hard when you go against a team that are going to start fighting for survival because they will throw everything and the kitchen sink at you in an attempt to win. They need the win. I hate the wording of this, but they needed it more than we did. And also, I think, like you said, they wanted it more than we did.
Throughout the game for me, I'll just touch on one thing if I may, Robin, in regards to like talking about the third goal, the mind games they played throughout the whole entire game. So if you watch the third goal back again, Alderete and I don't know who it is on basically having a squabble on the goal line when that shot comes in, and it's
No,
just like,
no, it wasn't Adam. That was later in the game when the shot hit the crossbar, bounced down, and then went out. Yeah, that was
no,
completely late. No, trust me, Adam. You know, Tom, you were there with
Yeah,
me.
the Alderete scrap was the second half.
Was that when the two of them were
but
basically looking at each other and the ball went
Yeah.
over the back of them?
Yeah,
But
yeah. I mean,
it's the mind games they've played all the way through to try and throw us off our game.
yeah, but you
And for
said the third goal, Adam. Come on, Adam.
I've
Right.
had a long day.
Yeah, quite clearly. Right. So anyway, we'll have to just dismiss Adam's rant there because it was wrong. But hey ho, that's why I'm here, lads. You know, and lasses that listen to it is part of my job is to correct Adam, as we full
And
well
Kev.
know,
And Kev.
and Kev. But Kev tends to
Look,
make the
geography
mistakes when I'm
wasn't
not
my
here.
strong point.
So just
But
be aware, Tom. Robin will correct you at some point.
Inside the
anyway, no.
M25, you know where you are. Outside the
Yeah.
M25, you're lost. And the other way
Yeah.
around.
Right. So, right, just briefly then, I want Tom's take on this because obviously, you know, he was at the game. I know we met up before the match and stuff like that. Kev said about making changes. LeBrie got it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I felt he should have made changes probably straight after the first goal.
Yeah.
What's your take on it and the fact that he then didn't make changes, especially after the second goal on the penalty?
There definitely should have been a change in system in the first half, obviously, but it's rare you see that in it nowadays. But the substitutions at half time they had to happen. Ronaldo was a walking red card. Hume, worst performance in the Sunderland shirt, likely. And who else came off? Mundle, wasn't it? Mundle, I don't think he attempted to take Wan-Bissaka on once. Get down the line, turn back, play it, or cut in and lose the ball. So Talby coming on was a given, really. But yeah, I would have liked to seen something in the first half, a change of system.
Yeah, I mean that was the thing to me. Excuse me. The thing to me is that I think he waited too long to respond. I mean, I know we've said it previously. We all have been a little bit frustrated with the speed of his substitutions. At times, he doesn't seem to want to make them soon enough. Look, it is hard in the first half, and it's extremely difficult, especially for the players that you're going to replace.
Mhm.
But, and the thing is, this is the but. He gets paid to make those decisions, and he got it wrong. And he should have seen it a lot quicker than what he did. Yes, we had no Granit Xhaka, and he was a big miss. But to me, if you're putting him in midfield as effectively a right winger, and then you're relying on Siddiqui and Lefay in the middle, they're not going to do the in the trenches dirty bit. To me, that was screaming out for Hertrauda and Diarra. Yes, it would have probably meant someone missing out. You know, would it have been Lefay? Probably not. He would have played him further forward. Would it have been Maenda? I'm going to say most definitely, really. I understand him wanting to maybe go more attacking. But when we weren't getting those players involved, I mean, I was surprised that Maenda stayed on the pitch for as long as he did. Because to me, I mean, I'll get your thoughts on it as well. Every time he got the ball, all what he did was try to cut inside and he lost it on first contact every single time. Not once in that game did he run by anyone. Thoughts?
I was going to say, in regards to not making the changes quick enough, do you think it's something along the lines of possibility that Regis has seen us somewhat dig ourselves out of a hole before, if that makes sense? So if you look at the likes of, say, the Bournemouth game, we were 2-0 down and we turned it around. Do we think it's something like that sometimes with Regis, where he's like, you have done it before, you can go and do it again. This is the onus on you guys yourselves to go out there and show me why I shouldn't be taking you off.
I understand what you're saying there entirely. However, this is what I want Tom's view on this one. Do you think that there was any chance of us putting in a performance like we did against Bournemouth when we went 2-0 down, against West Ham when we went 2-0 down?
No, no, the games were completely different. Even when we was 2-0 down against Bournemouth, the performance wasn't that bad really. Obviously one of the Bournemouth goals was a free goal from the halfway line. Even at 2-0 down against Bournemouth, I still thought we were in it, but West Ham was different. Every second ball we lost, like Ronaldo, Hume, letting Somerville and Bowen past them every single time. Nothing in midfield really. Lost the ball every time it went forward. We were 10 times better against Bournemouth, even at 2-0 down, than we were at West Ham.
Yeah, that's the thing to me. Look, I'm not going to panic and jump on the bandwagon that football fans tend to do nowadays. I mean, all you got to do is look at the meltdown from North London today because they lost one game of football yesterday. I mean, it happened to be, the last home beaten home league. I know that's us, isn't it? We're still unbeaten at home, yeah. Little old Sunderland, who just got newly promoted into the Premier League, are the last unbeaten home team. So, yeah, but Arsenal losing one game and their fans are going, that's it, it's all over, this team's not good enough. Hang on a minute, how many millions have you spent on that team? But look, the entire performance wasn't their first half. He did make some changes at half time. And we'll look at the one positive, and I'll say it is one positive. There's a couple of chances where Diarra came on and stuff, but obviously Diarra fed Mukiele. Mukiele put the ball across, and there's Brian Brobby, bang, with another header. The goal, lads, your thoughts on that?
Well worked. Decent run forward. Sorry, decent run forward from Diarra. Good ball into Mukiele, but the cross is really good to be fair, and obviously the header as well. Up to 5 goals for the season now. So the one positive of Saturday is I think probably up to 5 goals, so his confidence will be through the roof now.
Yeah, Kev, Adam, any thoughts on that?
I'd like Kev to say something because he hasn't said anything tonight.
I'm bringing Kevin specifically in a minute.
Right, no, Tom's hit the nail on the head with that. To be fair, it was a lovely bit of play from us to get that ball across, and once again, Robbie's on the end of it, and he didn't. You can tell it meant a lot to him, but at the same time, it was like we're still 2 goals down. We need more, and I think for me, I think with him, he's got that he's getting that consecutive now of like I can find the net from anywhere now with either my head, my feet, my wrong foot, and still score those goals. And I think that's going to keep on just building him up more and more.
Which, yeah, absolutely perfect, Alan, what you're saying there. However, next question is, why aren't we doing that more often? Why aren't we putting balls in the box like that?
We didn't realise that Robbie could do that.
Thing. Well, I think we did. I mean, he's done it. He's done it. He's scoring goals like that. We've gone from, going back to the first half, Mundell was too frightened to do anything. He seems to be lacking the belief to go by anybody now. But obviously wanted to bring Kevin on this because obviously what could have been the changing point, even if it was in the last seconds of the game, was obviously that absolute worldy effort from Luke O'Nien. We know how much Kev loves Luke, so obviously your thoughts on that one, Kev? I mean, how on earth did he spot Areola 3 inches off the line to be able to try and dink it over the top of him?
It's one of them, isn't it? It goes in, it's a worldie. But yeah. Was it a cross? Probably. Did he absolutely toe poke it? Absolutely. Hey, look, we've all played football at school level and maybe a little bit more than that. And we've all done it. We've all smacked the ball with a toe poke and it's turned into a prime Ronaldo, Roberto Carlos swerve, and everyone's gone, wow. If that had gone in, I think Sunderland fans would have fallen over. But yeah, I think that was more hit and hope than a worldie in the making.
I mean, when I saw it, to be honest, I thought, I haven't watched it fully back properly, but I thought he's about to put the cross in. And then I just thought, has he just hit that with his standing foot and the ball squirmed off somewhere and he's hit it off the side of his foot? But obviously, look, Areola nearly made a complete mess of it. It would have been a comedy goal of all sorts. And, did we deserve anything from that game? I'm going to say no.
I think the other thing to mention, and I'm sure you've all got a little bit of an input on this, is they're a different West Ham to the one we faced at the start of the season.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They've brought in new players, and some of them featured obviously at the weekend, but also Nuno, different manager. I think it does help, and obviously it's taken them a little while, but when you do bring a new manager in, you've got to change a few things, haven't you? You've got to kind of sometimes eke out the coaching that was brought in, and then start playing your style of football and promoting your style of play. Maybe that is the style of West Ham moving forward, and we were just the start of the team seeing it, because obviously they beat, was it Tottenham the week before?
Yeah.
Was it 3-0? So,
2-1, wasn't it?
2-1, yeah, against
was it
Tottenham.
2-1? This flu's got me absolutely done, lad. Honestly, you could tell me we played Bayern Munich last week. I believe you.
My sole purpose isn't just to correct you all the time, but I was trying to get an opinion on things. But yeah, look, I mean, West Ham, 2 wins. Is it 2 wins on the trot? Did they get one before that as well? In the FA Cup.
The run for the game was 2 because they beat.
Yeah, I was talking about the league. I think 2 in the league, but 1 in the cup as well, wasn't it? So,
Well,
look, I mean, it's that. Yeah, they might have found a little turn in form. I think what's helped them as well massively is they brought players in January quite early on, which has obviously given them a bit of a boost. The lads that are there already, with the exception of Paquetá or Paqueta, depending on how they want to pronounce it, because nobody seems to want to make their mind up on that one. I mean, Adam, your take on his name?
I said Paqueta.
There we go. So, another pronunciation by Adam, which is different to what the TV people say. but look, yeah, so he's obviously wanted away. They brought in these other lads. James Ward-Prowse was back on the bench, so maybe him and Nuno have buried the hatchet because there was a bit of history between those two. But obviously the new lads coming in, it has obviously done themselves a massive favour and given themselves a boost. Which has sort of got me onto our point with lack of any movement. I know we brought in Jocelyn Tarby, but we do believe that he's more for next season. He's coming in with a bit of an injury. I do believe he needed an operation. I'm not sure if they've actually gone ahead with that yet. And then the rest of it just seems to be rumours of outgoings, of the fringe players. So, Anthony Patterson rumoured to be linked with Millwall.
Yep.
Which I believe Millwall are quite keen on taking him, but I think the stumbling block's wages. They want us to pay more of his share of wages and what they're prepared to, sort of thing. Obviously, Dan Neil, heavily linked with Rangers earlier on in the window, but they have no money. I think the latest on that, as we're recording, I don't think it's actually gone through yet, but he's undergone a medical at Ipswich, which he'll go on loan for the remainder of the season. So I'm hoping there's a small loan fee and they cover his wages, because he goes for free in the summer, and it seems a bit of a bizarre one that we're not actually prepared to try and sell him.
The one in regards to Daniel, the way I look at it very strangely is because I don't know if any of you got, well, obviously Robert and Tom, you may not have seen it during the game. Kev, you may have. It came up during the West Ham game. Apparently, it was very heavily linked during the game with West Ham.
Mm-hmm.
And then it said something about halfway through the game, the West Ham deal was off and he was rumoured to go somewhere else. And then obviously this is where now the whole talk of the loan deal with Ipswich is appeared from.
Yeah.
So obviously we can take that as if we will. Is that our kind of like touts trying to cause problems to West Ham, saying, haha, you've lost a man you were going in for to play mind games? Or was it just he was linked with them and thought, I'd rather actually be at Ipswich and be back with Clarkey, for example?
Or does he
Um,
just want to ride his contract out and then get a nice move
yeah,
somewhere with a little
Yeah.
briefcase full of money?
I think that's more to it. I think a loan deal to the Championship suits him
Mhm.
because
Leverage.
there's no pressure on him. If he went to West Ham, then let's face it, we're going to want a permanent deal there.
Yeah.
Are they going to want to spend money on a 6 months deal, or are they going to want to tie him down longer? Is he prepared to go to a team that's fighting relegation and could well be in the Championship next season? What we've got to think, and I think a lot of fans probably don't get this, Dan Neil didn't sign the contract last season. They tried to get him to sign it from the September at the start of the season last year. So, kind of 18 months ago, there was a new deal on the table. And the way I understand it, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, if you've heard any different, but the way I understand it from people that I've spoken to is that Dan Neil didn't want to sign the contract because he wanted to see where we were at the end of the season. Because if we hadn't have got promoted, he was basically handing in a transfer request because he wanted away because he felt he could play at a higher level.
I
Obviously,
heard that too, to be fair.
yeah,
It was,
we didn't
yeah.
get promoted, obviously, and he's coming to the Premier League. Obviously, I don't think any of us could have seen Granit Xhaka coming in. But do we feel that he's maybe shown a lack of ambition? Because the odd few minutes he's played here and there, and even during games, I've not even noticed him out warming up.
He does, but he plods about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At
Same as
home
when
games, I mean, I don't know what he's like at away games, but the last home game, him, Luke, and I can't remember who else came out to warm up. And, and I'm a Luke fan, but Luke's out there, he's clapping the fans, he's enthusiastic, and he's going to warm up. And he goes and talks to the opposition players and he gets involved. Dan, and I'm not knocking the lad, thank you for everything he's done. He comes out, it's a quick look up and down the crowd, maybe a couple of claps, and then he just goes and dawdles about near the corner flag. For me, that's going through the motions.
Mhm.
He's checked out. He probably thinks, what's the point of me going down to the touchline to warm up? I'm not getting put on. What is the point? But he's ticking the box because he's being told by the coaches, go warm up.
Now, I want your take on this, Tom.
Hmm.
With that in mind, and the fact he has shown a bit of lack of enthusiasm to actually try to get on the pitch, do you think he's cost himself a place in the team? Obviously, without Granit Xhaka being available, surely Dan Neil would have been an option to come into that. I mean, do you think his attitude has probably cost him?
Maybe a little bit, yeah. He's obviously unfortunate the biggest signing we made is in the same position, but when he's granted it's only been about half an hour combined all season, he's not done a lot when he has been on. As you said then, he doesn't really look interested on the sidelines. So yeah, I don't really blame Labrie for not putting him on when Xhaka does come off or Lafi, Siddiqui, whoever. But he has probably cost himself a bit, but yeah, he's been unfortunate Xhaka signed in the same position.
Oh, yeah, it's a good point, that one, mate. It is a bit unfortunate. Look, obviously, that's Patterson and Dan Neil. Um, Obviously, there's rumours of Wilson Isidore being linked with, I believe, Everton. Is it Wolves and Paris FC?
Forest as well.
Forest as well. There we go. I wasn't sure about it. Forest. So linked with them. Um, Obviously, I think Labrie and Wilson's not really been saying too much about that. I think he remains an integral part of the squad for the season. Today, the rumour of obviously Elijah Maenda being linked with Paris FC as well, who obviously were linked with Wilson Isidore last week for 25 million. Two more players, which I don't feel we should be looking at them going anywhere. I mean, your thoughts on that, and who would you get out the door if you could to lighten up the wage bill?
Um,
Any one of you lads, come on.
We could
oh,
get rid of Abdullah Bar, Pembele. Now, there's a lot of without sounding horrible. There's a lot of dead wood in our club that needs to be gone. That's a given. There's a lot that need to go out the door. Like so, as I said, there, Bar, Pembele, things like that. We need to see them moved on, to be polite, to be better off for their careers, not just to get them off the wage bill. Out of our current plethora of squad, I would say it's hard to say because everyone's so unified at the minute, where it's going to be hard. If the likes of Mayenda and Isidore are to go, if they did, I'm hoping somewhere in the background we've went right. We've got somebody that is better quality that can come in and hit the ground running straight away. That because if you're going to play two up top, you'll need somebody that can match, for my opinion, the stature of Robbie. If Robbie can hold up the ball, you need somebody to either run off him quicker and get the ball on the back of there, or like vice versa, 1-2s to Robbie and do it that way.
Tom, Kev, your thoughts?
You're not going to go 4-4-2. I think the idea of two strikers is dead. And that's, the end of my conversation on that one. It's not Reggie's tactic. He doesn't seem to use it. When people see Mayenda and Robbie on the team sheet together, they instantly go, oh, they must be squaring them next to each other. No, it doesn't happen. Paris FC in for Isidore, then went, oh, he's too expensive. Now they're in for Mayenda. I'm sorry, but he's not going to be much cheaper than Wilson. So probably just a little bit of an agent hype somewhere to try and get a move for a different client of theirs, probably. Or is it a loan move to go and get the lad some football? That's probably the best move, if anything. For me, I think I've expressed it quite a lot in our chat. We need to get some of these loan players gone. Your Harper, I think the limit is 6 European loans. That'll include Dan Neil going to Ipswich. You've got Pembele at Le Havre. Hamir's somewhere. You know where I'm coming from? There's all these loan players that are out that are stopping us probably moving other players. We've had to bring Alexic back. The lad's not going to get played, but we've had to bring him back so Masuaku can go. For me, Pembele, you're not hitting the level. Get gone. Pay him off. Get rid of them. They're not in the. Why are we loaning these players out for, in my opinion, no benefit? Dan Neil to Ipswich. Look, your contract's up in the summer. See you later. Let him go. Why are we holding on to him for 6 more months to loan him out?
That's a good point, and obviously that's not mentioning Ian Jack Rodwell Pervader.
I'm just getting off me soapbox, lad. Sorry, bear with me. Poor Tom's joined us on this and thinks, geez, that Kev's a bit of a loon.
Yeah, so before we wrap it up, do you see any incomings? Because it seems really quiet on that front.
Yes. I see two people coming. I see 2 or 3 coming in. I think it's good. I think it's going to be last minute additions, but I do see 2 to 3 coming in.
Right, and what sort of positions do you think, Adam?
Personally, I think we're going to look at, and I do agree with the strong rumours that we are linked with another goalkeeper, and I think that is more not to displace Roofs. I think it's more as a competition with the rumours, obviously, of Pato going. I think that'll be it's going to be a fight out of Simon Moore and this other keeper, go like that. But I think in the nutshell, it'll be that keeper that'll get number 2. On the back of that, I think we'll possibly go for another defensive midfielder. And potentially, I think we will go out and try and get another winger.
Tom, any thoughts on the possible incomings?
I think 2 probably. I'd love to see another winger because there's no creativity at the moment. I think Talby is our highest productive one, and he's only got 2 goals and 1 assist, I think. Goalkeeper, obviously, if Patterson leaves, I'd like to see a centre mid as well when Dan Neil's gone. Obviously, Xhaka's out for 4. Yeah.
Yeah, look, it's going to be interesting as we sort of like go into the final week of the transfer window. Obviously we'll come back later in the week, lads, and we'll do the preview of Burnley. Hopefully, we will have some news whether or not it's outgoings, incomings. Xhaka making a miraculous recovery and back on the pitch and raring to go. So, with that in mind, we'll wrap it up. Tom, thanks for joining us this evening. Obviously, it's been a pleasure, mate.
Cheers, enjoyed it. Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. And Kev, thank you to you.
Yeah, pleasure as always. And yeah, thank you, Tom, for joining us. And hopefully we'll pick you up on another one.
Cheers.
Yeah, definitely. And Adam, I would thank you, but you'd probably do it yourself at the end of the pod anyway.
Oh, I was going to say it's a running joke at the minute. I'm keep on thanking myself for everything. So yeah, thanks me for being on. Tom, thanks for joining me. And yeah, definitely, as Kev said, we'll get you on for more.
Yeah, and yeah, if you want to get more of Tom, he's starting off his social media profile in a bit to get himself out there. Say he graduated last summer from Sunderland Uni, BA with honours in sports journalism. So hopefully we'll have the lad on before he reaches dizzy heights and forgets all about us when he's on TNT Sports or something.
Be the Northeast Romano.
Yeah, there you go. So to all our listeners, that's it from us, lads. Thanks very much, and asses, and we shall see you on the next one.